Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Amritpal Singh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India says security situation in Canada is deteriorating fast, accuses the Canadian media of running a disinformation campaign against India. Prime Minister Modi launches multiple development projects at Prayagraj, inspects the development works for Mahakumbh Mela 2025. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Turkey stresses the need to keep the Islamic State contained in Syria. Russia launches huge missile attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Dozens of cruise missiles fired on targeted Ukrainian power grid. Well, the breaking news of the hour: Indians in Canada have been advised by the Government of India to exercise caution given the deteriorating security situation there. In a press briefing, the Ministry of External Affairs said that 3 Indian students were killed in Canada recently and there are over 4 lakh students, Indian students in Canada. He added that Canadian media is running a disinformation campaign against India.
3 Indian students have been murdered in violent crimes. We are deeply saddened by these terrible tragedies that have struck our nationals in Canada. We extend our deepest condolences to the families, grieving families. Our High Commission in Ottawa and our consulates in Vancouver and Toronto, they are in touch with the families. They are also pushing very hard with following up with the local authorities for thorough investigation in the matter. We have also issued advisory for our nationals and our students to exercise extreme caution and remain vigilant in view of the deteriorating security environment in Canada as a result of the growing incidence of hate crimes and criminal violence.
And the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs also shared an update on Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri's recent visit to Bangladesh. He said that India has conveyed its support for democratic and inclusive Bangladesh. He said that Misri raised the issue of attacks on minorities living there.
Regarding Foreign Secretary's visit, I'd like to highlight that he went there on 9th of December. He had Foreign Office consultations. He also met the Chief Advisor and thereafter the Foreign Affairs Advisor of Bangladesh. Foreign Secretary highlighted during his talks India's support for a democratic, stable, peaceful, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. He also reiterated India's willingness to build a positive and constructive relationship with Bangladesh based on mutual trust and respect and mutual sensitivity to each other's concerns and interests.
Giving details on the recent evacuation operation from Syria for the Indians, the spokesperson said that the Indian embassies in Syria and Lebanon are working closely for evacuation of 77 Indians who have already been evacuated from Syria. He added that Indian embassy is still in close touch with the Indians who are still living in Syria.
So far, 77 Indians have been evacuated. These were those who wanted to return. In addition, there are several other Indians who are settled there, married there, or are pursuing some vocation. They still continue to be in Syria. If they tomorrow wish to return, we will give them a helping hand as well.
Sri Lankan President Anura Dissanayaka, let's go back. The Sri Lankan President Anura Dissanayaka will be visiting India. He'll be in India on Monday.
President of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mr. Anura Kumara Dissanayaka, will visit India on a state visit on 15 to 17 December 2024. This will be the first visit of President Dissanayaka to India after the recently concluded presidential and parliamentary elections in Sri Lanka. During the visit, President of Sri Lanka will meet Rashtrapati Ji and also hold discussions with Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest.
The 15th India-UAE Joint Commission meeting was held in New Delhi today. It was co-chaired by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and UAE's visiting Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. In his opening remarks, Dr. Jaishankar said that the strategic partnership between the two countries is a model of relationship, adding that the frequency of meetings between Prime Minister Modi and the ruler of Abu Dhabi, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, have created confidence among the leaders and put the bilateral relations on a strong footing. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said that as a result, the trade between the two countries is set to achieve a non-oil trade target of $100 billion.
Our bilateral economic and commercial ties are not only very strong, but increasingly diversified and deep. Since the entry into force of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, in May 2022, our trade has steadily grown and it has now reached a level of $85 billion. The success of CEPA has spurred new initiatives like the Bharat Mart, the Virtual Trade Corridor, the Maitri interface, all of which will provide a further fillip to our trade and help us achieve the non-oil trade target of $100 billion in the coming years.
Lok Sabha, or the lower house of the Indian Parliament, began its two-day special debate on the Constitution to commemorate the 75th anniversary of adoption of India's Constitution. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh commenced the debate in the Lok Sabha. Addressing the parliamentarians, the minister accused that there has always been an attempt by a particular party to hijack the work of constitution making. The minister also reiterated that BJP holds the utmost respect for the constitution, unlike the opposition, which carries it in their pockets.
कांग्रेस के मित्रों ने अनेक मौके पर संविधान और संवैधानिक भावनाओं का निरादर किया है। कांग्रेस पार्टी ने हमेशा संविधान को राजनीतिक हित साधने का एक माध्यम बनाया है और उसकी मूल भावना को तहस-नहस करने का कांग्रेस ने काम किया है। विपक्ष के कई नेता संविधान की प्रति अपनी जेब में रखकर घूमते हैं। असल में उन्होंने बचपन से ही यही सीखा है। उन्होंने पीढ़ियों से अपने परिवार में संविधान को जेब में ही रखे थे। लेकिन अध्यक्ष महोदय, भारतीय जनता पार्टी संविधान को सिर माथे पर लगाती है।
The debate marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing winter session of the Parliament, where the Constitution has emerged as a focal point of contention between the government and the opposition. The debate will reflect on the significance and evolution of the Constitution since its adoption on November 26, 1949. It has been a long-standing demand of the opposition. The government, however, said that the party had already called for such a debate, reaffirming their commitment to constitutional values. The similar debate is slated to take place in the upper house or the Rajya Sabha on December 16th and 17th. The special constitution debate will culminate with a reply by Prime Minister Modi on Saturday. Meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah is slated to start the debate in Rajya Sabha on Monday. In the upper house of Parliament or Rajya Sabha, a probe over no confidence motion against the House chairman disrupted the proceedings today. A fiery exchange of words was witnessed between Vice President and Chairman of the House, Jagdeep Dhankar, and the Leader of Opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge. While arguing with the Leader of Opposition, the Chairman of the House said that he was the son of a farmer and wouldn't be cowed down by the opposition's move of accusing it of insulting the Constitution. The House was later adjourned for the day.
Constitution is very clear. It will come up as indicated by the Constitution. It's a campaign not against me. It's a campaign against category to which I belong. I will stand by my oath. I appeal to you, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Khadgeji. I appeal to you in the name of Constitution for a change. Come with an open mind. Have dialogue with me in my chamber. Leader of the House is also requested. If you come to my chamber, we will work in togetherness. We will try to break the lockdown.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated and launched multiple development projects worth 5,500 crore rupees for Mahakumbh 2025. On a visit to Prayagraj, in a city in northern state of Uttar Pradesh, the projects launched include various rail and road works to boost infrastructure and provide seamless connectivity in the region. Projects for River Ganga and other infrastructure projects related to drinking water and power were also launched. With an aim to boost spiritual tourism, major temple corridors were also inaugurated by Prime Minister. The Prime Minister also launched the Kumbh Sahayak chatbot that will provide details to give guidance and updates to the events of Mahakumbh. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Modi called it a Mahayagya of unity.
महाकुंभ हजारों वर्ष पहले से चली आ रही हमारे देश की सांस्कृतिक आध्यात्मिक यात्रा का पुण्य और जीवंत प्रतीक है। यहां आकर संत महंत, ऋषि मुनि, ज्ञानी विद्वान, सामान्य मानवी सब एक हो जाते हैं। यहां जातियों का भेद खत्म हो जाता है, संप्रदायों का टकराव मिट जाता है। करोड़ों लोग एक थे, एक विचार से जुड़ जाते हैं। और इसलिए मैं फिर एक बार कहता हूं, ये महाकुंभ एकता का महायज्ञ है।
Upon his arrival at Prayagraj, the Prime Minister was greeted by saints at the Sangam Nose, where he performed a religious prayer. He was accompanied by Chief Minister of the state, Yogi Adityanath. Sangam is the confluence of the Ganges, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers in Prayagraj. Following the prayer at the Sangam, the Prime Minister also offered prayers at the sacred tree in the Hindu temple Akshavat, along with the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Ministers and State Governor were also present with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister then offered prayers at Prayagraj's Lete Hanuman temple, where he was briefed about the temple alongside its model. The Prime Minister then visited the Mahakumbh exhibition site and took a walkthrough around the display. India remembers its martyrs who sacrificed their lives while defending the Parliament House from a dastardly terror attack on this day in 2001. President Draupadi Murmu paid tributes to the bravehearts, saying, and I quote, "I pay my humble tribute to the bravehearts who sacrificed their lives defending our Parliament on this day in 2001. Their courage and selfless service continues to inspire us. The nation remains deeply grateful to them and their families. On this day, I reiterate India's unwavering resolve to combat terrorism. Our nation stands united against the forces of terror." Unquote. And tributes were paid to the victims of the attack in the Parliament premises today, where Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Prime Minister Modi and several other political leaders and ministers of the Modi cabinet paid floral tributes to the fallen Jawans. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live, China says it will not go soft on Taiwan's independence activities. Taipei says Beijing is undermining the rules-based international order. Japanese researcher tests a drug to regrow teeth. And Czech artists carry the tradition of blown glass beads into present day.
So we begin our journey exploring the factories where cricket gear is made, uncovering the process that has made Meerut famous worldwide.
Meerut was one area which was allocated for sports industry.
They have done very well, they are making a cricket bat, cricket ball, or pads, leather goods.
All around the world, they get their bats made in India. So you can imagine the kind of work they put in, and it's not an easy job.
There is a lot of hard work, a lot of craftsmanship, a lot of precision that goes inside the product.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Amritpal Singh. Shifting focus, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Turkey for talks focused on establishing stability in Syria after clashes between forces backed by the U.S. and Turkey erupted in the north. He met with his Turkish counterpart Hakan Fidan today. Blinken met Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan on Thursday after visiting Jordan on his first trip to the region since Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government was ousted on the 8th of this month.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Turkey for talks focused on establishing stability in Syria. Blinken met Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan at Ankara's Esenboga airport after visiting Jordan on his first trip to the region since Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government was ousted on Sunday. Erdogan and Blinken discussed the latest developments in Syria, with Erdogan calling on the international community to work together for the reconstruction of institutions in Syria. Erdogan also told Blinken that Turkey would take preventive measures in Syria for its national security against all organizations it deems as terrorist. The G7 leaders will meet virtually on Friday to discuss the momentous changes underway in Syria, where the interim government has vowed to institute the rule of law after years of abuses under ousted President Bashar al-Assad. Leaders of the Group of 7 Democratic Powers said they were ready to support the transition to an inclusive and non-sectarian government in Syria. They called for the protection of human rights, including those of women and minorities, while emphasizing the importance of holding the Assad regime accountable for its crimes. The country's constitution and parliament would be suspended during a 3-month transition period. After the fall of Assad's government, Syrians flocked to the infamous prisons where the Assad regime is estimated to have held tens of thousands of detainees. Meanwhile, Blinken said that the United States is working to bring home an American citizen, Travis Timmerman, who was freed from prison earlier in the week. The Syrian leadership said it was ready to cooperate with Washington to look for U.S. citizens disappeared under Assad, including on an ongoing search for U.S. journalist Austin Tice, who was abducted in 2012.
In terms of an American citizen who was found just today, I can't give you any details on exactly what's going to happen, except to say that we're working to bring him home, to bring him out of Syria and to bring him home. But for privacy reasons, I can't share any more detail than that at this moment.
Jordan also announced it will host a Syria crisis summit on Saturday that will include foreign ministers from numerous Western and Arab nations as well as Turkey. Bureau Report, DD India.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Friday that Russia has launched a major missile and drone attacks on Ukraine. He further added that Russia launched 93 missiles and nearly 200 drones in one of its largest attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Zelensky said that Ukrainian air defenses managed to shoot down 81 Russian missiles, including 11 missiles that were downed by F-16 fighter jets. Kyiv residents took shelter in metro stations in the Ukrainian capital. Russian Defense Ministry said that the attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure are in retaliation for Kyiv's use of US-supplied ATACMS missiles. Meanwhile, the United States has announced a new $500 million package of military aid for Ukraine on Thursday as Washington races to bolster Kyiv before President-elect Donald Trump takes office. The package includes ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems and high-speed anti-radiation missiles, among other assistance.
That also today the President approved a new security assistance package for Ukraine that will provide them with additional air defense, artillery, drones, and armored vehicles. It's the 72nd such drawdown package announced by the United States, and as the President made clear, we're going to continue to provide additional packages right up to the end of this administration.
This follows a $988 million security assistance package and a separate $725 million package, both announced earlier this month. While the White House reaffirmed that the U.S. would continue to provide additional packages for Ukraine right up to the end of Biden administration's term. Okay. Latest from South Korea's political crisis. Lawmakers formally submitted a second impeachment motion against President Yoon Suk Yeol in the South Korean parliament on Friday. The opposition parties that control the single-chamber parliament will hold the second impeachment vote on Saturday. They need at least 8 members of the ruling People's Power Party to pass the bill with a 2/3 majority. A second motion was introduced after the first attempt to unseat and remove President Yoon from office failed a week ago. And ahead of the parliamentary vote over Yoon's martial law imposition, the opposition leader Lee Jae-myung said that the best way to restore order in the country is to impeach President Yoon. Yoon's decision to impose military rule on December 3rd has triggered a major crisis in the region. Calling Yoon's remarks as a declaration of war against the people, Lee on Friday said that the impeachment is the fastest and the most effective way to end the confusion. On Thursday, in a televised address, Yoon vowed to fight till the end, blaming the opposition party for paralyzing the government. Okay, moving on now to the latest China-Taiwan conflict. Breaking its silence on the continuing military activities around Taiwan, Chinese Defense Ministry spokesman Wu Qian on Friday said that the People's Liberation Army will not be absent and will not be soft in its fight against independence of Taiwan and for reunification. Qian further stated that it is China that decides whether or not to hold drills, and its military would not be absent in fighting against what China calls separatist forces.
It is the sacred duty of the People's Liberation Army to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the state, to safeguard the fundamental interest of the Chinese people, and to safeguard the common interest of compatriots on both sides of Taiwan Strait. Just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. Whether or not to hold exercises and when to hold them is a matter for us to decide on our own according to our own needs and the situation of the struggle.
So if you have missing teeth, this may be good news for you. People with the missing teeth may be able to grow new ones. This is what Japanese dentists say. They are testing a pioneering drug that they hope will offer an alternative to dentures and implants. Here's how.
It is widely accepted that humans only grow 2 sets of teeth. But hidden underneath our gums are the dormant buds of a third generation, according to Katsu Takahashi, head of oral surgery at the Medical Research Institute, Kitano Hospital in Osaka. His team launched clinical trials at the Kyoto University Hospital in October, administering an experimental medicine to adult test subjects that they say have the potential to jumpstart the growth of these concealed teeth. Tests on mice and ferrets suggest that blocking a protein called USAG1 can awaken the third set, and the researchers have published lab photographs of regrown animal teeth. In a study published last year, the team said that their antibody treatment in mice is effective for tooth regeneration and can be a breakthrough in treating tooth anomalies in humans. For now, the dentists are prioritizing the dire needs of patients with 6 or more permanent teeth missing from birth. The drug is therefore aimed primarily at children, and the researchers want to make it available as early as 2030. Location of a new tooth can be controlled by drug injection site. Research participants are healthy adults who have lost at least one tooth. Researchers claim there is a slim chance that tooth regeneration could happen to subjects. If so, researchers will have confirmed that drug can be effective for those with acquired toothlessness. This could be particularly welcome news in Japan, which has the second oldest population in the world.
In a workshop in a village in the Czech mountains, the artisans are creating delicate Christmas decorations and ornaments with glass beads using a technique that goes back more than a century. Take a look at this delicate art which produces wonderful glass shapes and objects. India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched its OTT platform which it calls Waves. Waves provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audience. If you want great content for free, then download Waves today. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amritpal Singh from our entire team here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live. Have a good day.